Hey beauties! Today we're diving into one of the most iconic Avengers, Captain America, but with a spooky Halloween twist, a full zombie transformation. The video is sped up for time, but if you'd like to follow along step by step, just slow it down in the settings. Let's get started. I begin by sketching out the key details, the classic A on the forehead, the mask outline and the torn zombie mouth. I also map out where the teeth will go, then draw them in. Around the cheek area I add a few smaller open wounds and then I sketch in the strap running along the jaw and chin of the helmet. For the base, I use a flat brush with grey paint over the skin and eye area to create that rotten undead tone that I'll shade over later. Next, with a liner brush and white paint, I fill in all the teeth. For the gums, nose and wounds, I mix a little black with red and apply that with an angled brush to get that raw, exposed look. To add more texture to the skin, I use a semi-fluffy flat brush with yellow eyeshadow, randomly placing it across the skin and under the eyes. Now for those classic undead eyes. With an angled brush and red paint, I draw broken vein-like lines beneath the eyes and cover the lid and above the crease in a rough, imperfect way. I also extend some red lines towards the outer corners for an extra sunken, wrinkled effect. To deepen everything, I switch to a fluffy brush with black eyeshadow, focusing on the inner corner up to the brow and along the lower lash line. Then I go back in with a skinny flat brush and white paint to add a few highlights under the eyes for contrast. I darken the gums and nose area even further with a touch of black eyeshadow, then move back to the teeth. Using another liner brush, I shade each tooth with a dirty sand yellow before adding crisp white highlights on top for depth. Around the exposed mouth, I start by blending in a dirty sand yellow to give that area that grimy, decayed look. I extend the sand yellow beneath the mask, setting up the base for those sunken, hollow cheeks. For the cheeks, I use black eyeshadow to hollow them out, then reinforce the structure with black paint applied using a liner brush. I add dimension with a few white highlights and even round out the upper cheekbones for that gaunt, undead appearance. Once that's complete, I return to the exposed mouth area. With a liner brush and black paint, I roughen up the outer edges to make them look torn and jagged, then finish with subtle white highlights to really sharpen and lift those ripped details. Moving under the mask, I place black eyeshadow beneath the eyes, softening it with a fluffy brush for shadowy depth. Next, I mix up a dark grey and use a liner brush to line and fill the helmet strap, carrying it from the side of the face down under the chin. I fill the chin guard with a slightly lighter grey, then add a touch of highlight to make it pop. Now onto the helmet itself. I paint in the A on the forehead, then highlight the edges above the eyes and the lines leading upward from the eye area. Once that's mapped, I paint the helmet and hair entirely in blue. When the paint is dry, I use a fluffy brush and white paint to softly highlight above the eyes and along the helmet lines. To transition, I buff royal blue eyeshadow over the highlights, blending it into the blue paint for a smooth gradient. Since I didn't get time to do Captain America's full suit, I focused on giving the neck and collarbones an undead sunken appearance. For this, I used large fluffy brushes with dark greys, browns and sand yellow shadows. Finally, I darken the inside of the mouth with black paint, filling in between each tooth and add more shading around the A on the helmet, under the highlighted areas and along the bridge of the nose for depth. And that's my take on zombie Captain America. I really hope you loved this transformation as much as I did. If you did, please show it some love by liking and subscribing so you don't miss out the rest of my Halloween multiverse series. It really means the world to me. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more reels and posts and up-close pictures of this look. Thank you so much for watching, sending you all so much love, and I'll see you in the next one.